This is Black and Alive, which is a series presented by 28 Shades of Black Magic. And 28 Shades of Black Magic is an annual photo series celebrating a different artist, young Black artist and entrepreneur for every day of Black History Month. And Tatiana was featured in this year's series, 2020. So if you go to our page, you just scroll down, you'll see her photo along with the rest of the photo series. And yeah, Black and Alive is just to like celebrate everyone who's doing great things right now, especially considering the state of the world today. So Thank you again, Tatiana, for coming through. Please introduce yourself, tell us about yourself, and tell us about what you do.
My name is Tatiana Scott, and I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm based in the Bronx. And I'm also, can you tell I don't talk about myself a lot? I'm also an actress. But I'm a creative, and I'm from the Bronx.
Perfect. So tell us about what you do. I know primarily you're a singer-songwriter, so about your recent project, where we can find all your stuff, everything. Just let us know.
Okay, so my most recent thing is my album. I just released that on April 9th of this year. It's called The Beautiful Struggle, and my family and I, we funded it, where I'm an independent artist. It's out everywhere. You can literally get it everywhere. iTunes, Tidal, Pandora, Spotify, wherever the music is being streamed. It's called Beautiful Struggle. And we're working on getting some CDs made, because I've had some friends like reach out and say they want like a physical thing. So we're trying to work on that.
Nice. That'd be really great. I have a few friends who I've noticed musicians putting out physical copies.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really great. I'm looking forward to checking that out.
Thank you. I am Tatiana Scott, like on Instagram. This is the main page, honestly, where everything is gonna get posted. Like you can find me on Facebook too at Tatiana Scott as well. But I literally put everything here first, and then I go to Facebook. So this is the page.
Right.
For everything.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. So moving forward, please tell us about what you're going through right now, considering what the whole world is going through. So COVID-19, Black Lives Matter, everything on the news. Like, how is it affecting you and your work?
It's really, in the beginning, it was really scary. Because you literally don't know what's going to happen. And so my family and I really had to kind of get used to like just living day to day. But I was like really upset because I finally, after a year with my agent, I booked my first off-Broadway show, and it got canceled because of Rona. And so I was like, oh my God, like I'm gonna have a paycheck, and yes, to be able to pay these equity dues. And then it was like, no, Broadway's canceled. So that's been the hardest part, just because you know how you're like work so hard to get to something. But that's been the hardest thing, is because I was like really like just hyped, because I've been auditioning forever, and to finally have like a major thing like that happen, and then it's like, oh well, we're canceling it. And what people don't know is, like, with creatives, with actors, if you haven't signed your contract yet, then they don't have to pay you. Right? Like, you haven't we didn't even show up for rehearsals. I literally had just gotten my offer letter. I had just accepted. And then you find out, like, they're canceling everything. And so for me, that was, like, really hard, because it's hard as, like, a performer, especially when that's how you make your money, to have to get up and go every day. Like, I can't tell you how many auditions I've been on, and I had not got any callbacks, and to finally get a job. Yeah. And be excited about that job. And it's like, no, you're sorry. And so we've dealing with that, and then just dealing with the fear of, like, watching people die. Yeah. Or being, witnessing the numbers going up. I thought it was, like, really profound. Like, I lost my doctor and my pastor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
To COVID. And I'm like, I just found that really profound because those are both people that you go to in a time of
Yeah,
need.
exactly.
And I'm like, and so you're dealing with that. It's like you're going through like a shell shock. There's like moments of denial where you're like, this isn't really happening. Like you feel like you're in a bad dream. Like it's like being in the Twilight Zone. And I think like honestly, I feel like when my husband got really sick towards like mid-February, it was like you also deal with the being treated differently when you go to, to seek help because you're a minority.
Yeah.
And so we took him to the hospital, and I remember, I'll never forget the doctor basically telling him, now at the time we didn't know about corona. It was February. They didn't tell us about corona until like March. And so we were like, I just thought he had the flu. Like, I thought he had a really bad flu. And they were like, oh, well, we're not really going to give him a flu test because it's uncomfortable. We're not going to put you through all that. Because if you have the flu, there's really nothing we could do about it anyway. And I think I'm lying. By the time we took him, COVID had just began. Like,
Right.
the hospitals weren't prepared.
Right.
Like, they were like rushing. And so they were picking and choosing who they were going to give care to. And so I remember they sent us home, and before we left, we had a black nurse. She was like my age, and she came over and she said, sis, treat his symptoms. And I was like, bet. Okay, like, but it took,
Will do.
right, it took her saying, no, you have to treat his symptoms, because the doctor was like, it'll go away on its own.
They just
And
sent
so
you.
when we left, I made sure, like, I just grabbed like everything I could find in the pharmacy. And I literally was like a nag. Like, I was being the biggest bitch because I would like we're on time with the medication. Oh, it says you have to take it every 4 hours. You going to work? Here's a bottle for you to take with you to work. Like, he was like, oh my God, you're doing the most. And I was like, no, because they don't know what this is. And I knew they weren't telling the truth. You remember when they were like, oh, it's fine. Not everybody's gonna get sick. You can go. You can keep going and doing what you need to do, and then all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
And so you kind of feel like you're at war because you're like trying to combat the illness. Yeah. Then when you go to try to get help, you're combating the doctors because they don't want to do their job. And it's frustrating because it's like, I hate to say this, but I don't go to the hospital in the Bronx, period. So when he gets sick, we go all the way to Manhattan. Because that's honestly, that's where white people go. So that's where, and I hate to say it, but
it's true.
That's what it is. You're going to go where you know they're going to deliver proper care. And
yeah, I definitely agree with that. And then everything you were saying, your experience with the hospital, I just, this COVID brought us face to face with like the systemic racism in so many aspects of life. Like, literally. So true.
It's really sad. Like, when you have an interaction with a cop as a black person, my first reaction when a police officer pulls us over, my father and I had this crazy experience when I graduated high school, like 2011. So I wasn't feeling well. I was at my husband at the time was my boyfriend, and I was at his house, and my dad came to pick me up after work because I couldn't take the train home. And I think my father and my husband put me in the car and walked back into his building. We didn't even make it to the next block. A cop pulled us over. And I'm texting him at the time. I'm like, hey, the cop just pulled us over. Something's not right. Call my mother. I don't even think I got to send a text message because they swarmed the car with guns. Now it's my father and myself. Okay? I'm in the back seat. There was one gun on my dad's side here, one gun on his side here. Why is this necessary? Why do you have to have two guns on him? Why is this necessary? And they had two guns on me. And these were rookie cops, right? But they were being led by like a sergeant or whoever the high-ranking person is in the precinct. And the whole time they're like, oh, they're cursing at us, calling us out of our name, calling us stupid motherfuckers. Yes, Dad. Thank you, Daddy. My dad was like, it was November 3rd, 2010. They're calling us out of our name. Like, literally, this all took 5 minutes. They arrested us, took us to the police precinct. They literally kidnapped us off the street. They were like, your car was stolen. Now I'm sitting there, right? And I'm like, my father, God bless him, he was having a bad week. The car was not stolen. It was a rental because someone hit his car.
Right.
And the insurance company gave him a car rental just till they fixed his car. So I'm sitting there with my hands up, and I'm like, there's the information is in the glove compartment. This is not a stolen car. It's like, listen, you don't have to use the guns. I need y'all to take the guns down.
Right. Even if I
Like,
stole a car, why do you have to put a gun in my face?
I was like, we're not going to resist. We'll go wherever you want. I said, but I need you to take the guns down. My father has a heart condition. Like, I was like in tears. I was petrified. And so, like, one of the guys who was on my side, he had a gun, and I'm looking at his eyes. And I was like, listen, if you want, my seatbelt is on. You're going to have to take it off. I'm not putting my hands down. I'm not going to move my hands. You're going to have to take me out the car because I'm not going to reach.
Right.
So the guy he looked me in the eye, and he put his gun down, and he was just like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, he was like, oh my God. Like, you could see he knew it was wrong. So he was like, he put his gun down. He took me out, and then he was like, like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. The sergeant starts yelling at him. Why the fuck did you take your gun off of her? What the fuck are you doing? Right? Long story short, one of the other rookies gets in the car and sees that. He's like, this is the rental papers here from the office that shows that this is a rental. The sergeant's like, put her on the fucking car. Why the fuck is she isn't in handcuffs yet? Now they did all of this, right? And then one of the sergeant had the nerve to tell my father, nobody's disrespecting you. You're being treated like a gentleman. You literally kidnapped me off the fucking street, right?
Right.
So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, okay, Lord, well, I need you to work this out. Because I never got to send the text message, right? So they had basically taken us to the precinct, put my dad in, like, the cell they have there, and put me handcuffed to a bench because they didn't want to put me in the cell with all guys. Mm-hmm. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, Lord, my mother always says that she has uterus kicks or flips when something's wrong. Please let her have a labor pain right now, Jesus, because I don't know how we're going to get out of this. So the whole time, I guess my mom had been texting my boyfriend, like, what's going on? Because I haven't heard from either of them. They're not answering their phones. We always say my mother's paranoid as hell. We literally like, Mommy, you need to calm down. Like, you're stressing us out. It's just calm down. I think she called my boyfriend 3 times, and he was finally like, well, she said the police pulled them over. And she's like, okay. And she called 311 to find out where the nearest precinct is. Then she calls the precinct. She's like, humor me. I know you guys don't have them, but just do me this favor. I'm looking for so-and-so and so-and-so. And the lady was like, yeah, they're here. So mind you, this is happening, and I'm sitting there. I have no idea what's happening. The lady, a female officer comes and takes me out. And she's like, I'm going to take you to your mom, right? Now, I should mention that the only reason they hadn't taken us to central booking is because as I was walking in, one of my classmates from college, who I just graduated with, I had no idea he was on the force. He graduated the police academy the same time. Then he was leaving for his shift when they were bringing me in.
Oh, wow.
And he saw me, and he was like, what the? Like, he was like, no. Like, wait a minute.
Y'all should not be arresting her.
Right. He was like, I don't care what y'all say. She didn't do it. What happened? So he took me to a corner. We were in theater together. And he took me to a corner. And he was like, you remember those theater exercises that we used to do? Pick one and do it while you're in this room. I'm clocking back in. I'm not going to let them take you guys to central booking. I'm going to stay here until we work this out. So he's in there yelling at the sergeant. Mind you, he's a rookie yelling at the sergeant. You can't, you can't. No, do something else. You can't do this. My mom, when they let me out, they're like, we're going to take you to your mother. I was like, what? I had no idea she was out there. She had been out there cursing the cops out. When I walked out, my boyfriend is standing there just like, he lived in that neighborhood his whole life. And because he's fair-skinned, they never stopped him. He had never experienced racial profiling. Now, his brother is your complexion. They stop him all the time.
Yeah.
But they never stopped him. And so he couldn't believe it. He's someone who's like, oh, you
That doesn't
guys,
happen in my neighborhood.
right, you guys are being so dramatic. And I remember when it was all said and done, my friend had to transfer out of the precinct because he said that it was just after they saw him go against the sergeant like that, they kept putting him in dangerous situations. So he was like, I can't trust them. So he transferred to another precinct.
Mm-hmm.
The rookies, because they went against the sergeant, I would see them like in the middle of the night doing like walking the beat in the neighborhoods because I went back to the neighborhood. And I remember they would stop me and say, listen, every time they saw me, we're so sorry. We were trying to tell they were literally trying to tell this man they didn't steal the car. Can't we just check it right now? We can just check it right here. And I remember my mother, like, she went off so bad. And there was a gentleman sitting at the counter, like, trying to, type something. And she was like, what the fuck are you doing? Go get my child. And the man was sitting there typing. He's like, well, I have to find something to charge the girl with.
Find something.
What?
What?
Because it was quota night. And then I remember, like, when it was all over, we get home. The next day, my father goes into the car rental place and goes off. Because he's like, the license plate came up stolen because the police kept maintaining that, your problem is that the rental car agency reported the license plate stolen. That's why we stopped you, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was all a lie. It was a training exercise.
Wow.
It was a training exercise. The rookie cops were like, it was a training exercise.
Wow.
He decided he was going to arrest us from the minute he pulled us over. Now, let's just say that the license plates did come back stolen. Did you have to come back with 4 guns? Did you have to come back calling us, you stupid motherfuckers? Like you're in a movie. Hands up, motherfucker! Like, no! Like, that's traumatic as fuck. And to be a black man in the car with your daughter
and you were
not
18?
be 17.
Oh, wow.
And not be able to protect yourself. No, I was a little older. I'm lying. I was like 19 or 20.
Okay.
But to not be able to assure your daughter that it's gonna be okay, and like to not like to have the wits about you, not to make sudden movements. How many people have we seen that they're like, oh no, I got my ID right here, And sad to say, that's not the first time that that's happened to us. People, it's like, oh, well, you were driving a nice car, so it had to be stolen. Black people can't have nice things.
Yeah.
And so after that, it's just like, it's been really, for me, it was a situation of like, I know my dad was like, I don't want you going back to that neighborhood because of what they did. And I was like, I'm not going to not live my life or see my boyfriend because of something that the cops did. Because they're going to do that shit no matter what.
Yeah.
Right? I said, the only thing that you can do is educate yourself and like learn your rights and learn what they can and can't do.
I want to ask, how is this current Black Lives Matter movement affecting you? Like within the past week, all of the protests all over New York City, everything on the timeline, like how is it affecting you and your work, and what are you going through? Well,
honestly, I feel like every time this happens, as a creative, like you get inspired and you start writing. Mm-hmm. Like for a long time, when it first started, what was it, when it started with the shooting of the young man Ahmaud who was running?
Yeah.
I was numb for that. Like I didn't want, like nobody could talk to me. I didn't want to hear about it because I was just like, why?
Yeah.
Like why? It's so unnecessary. And I felt numb like for a long time. I couldn't even speak about it.
Same.
Like, and then if I wanted to have some sort of commentary on it, I would write. Like I write music or write a song about it. And that's just how I've been coping, honestly. It's been going into my music because I feel like I'm so exhausted and drained from just saying, having the same things happen over and over again. It's like there are too many names to name at this point.
Yep.
And they've all been killed in some barbaric way.
Mm-hmm.
but we're the animals and we're the savages. And for me, it's just, it can be numbing. It can be overwhelming. Like, I try to limit how much news intake because I just get mad over and over again. I haven't been protesting myself physically because we still have a pandemic going on, and I am someone who is high risk. I will be the
Yeah.
person to die. So I try to do it in other ways. Like, I make sure that I'm like showing love to my people who are protesting and
Yep.
making sure that I'm educating. Like, I try to post educational things on my social media from now on.
Make sure
I
they know
really
their rights.
making sure they know like what to expect when they're going into these protests, how to best prepare themselves, you know, like what to bring with you, what not to bring with you.
Yeah.
Um, just trying to, I think for me, the best thing that you can do for any movement is to protect your peace
Mm-hmm.
and protect yourself. Don't get on social media and give these people your soul.
Mm-mm.
There are literally people who just want to agitate, people who just want to
Exactly.
argue. And you have to do your best to not give them that.
Give me some closing remarks. This is the point where you could totally plug yourself, but also let us know what organizations to support, what organizations you've been supporting, all the ways. Like you already said that you've been posting, but just any more you want to elaborate on that in terms of this current movement.
Well, what I've been doing is I've been basically taking the posts like all my friends are posting and just basically reposting their posts and sharing their posts. I know for a fact that I've been posting a lot specifically for the Black Lives Matter organization and their movement straight up because they are the originators of this.
Mm-hmm.
I've been on Twitter trying to get more information about more organizations that we have here.
Yeah.
Because I know on Twitter I've come across a lot of international organizations, but I'm trying to find ones that are more local to where we are. So I've been on Twitter putting feelers out for that, and when I get all that information, I will be reposting it on my page and sharing it.
Great.
Today I was out running an errand, and we passed the protests
Mm-hmm.
that were happening, and I just want to say to the people who are protesting and they're out there on foot, I just want to like thank them because not everybody can do that. And just to like, I'm really grateful to them because that's not an easy thing to accept, that when you're going out there, you're putting your body at risk.
Yep.
Like, you go out there knowing there's a high probability that I'm going to get arrested today.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a high probability that I'm probably going to get assaulted
Mm-hmm.
today. And nothing is going to happen to that officer that assaults me.
Yep.
So to be able to accept that and still go on behalf anyway is something that we will be forever and eternally grateful for, because you have to have people that are willing to give it their all in the middle of a pandemic.
Yep.
This pandemic is killing us at a higher rate than it's killing anybody else. Oops,
Mm-hmm.
sorry. And you still see us out there. Like, they're killing us anyway. So we can't let this stand. Like, we have to do this no matter what. Another thing I would say is find out who your local councilmen are.
Mm-hmm.
Their numbers are listed. You can call them
Mm-hmm.
and tell them you want the God, I can't use my words today. You want the police force to change the way that they're training people. You want them
Yep.
to make it illegal to do chokeholds, standing on folks' back, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I know I can't remember the name of the slogan. I think it's I don't want to lie and say it's make 8 great, but it's basically we're trying to get this thing passed where all the police precincts have to use one way of interrogating people, and they all use the same practices, and
Yeah.
the other stuff that can, the excessive force stuff is basically banned.
Yeah.
So you can call your councilman, your local councilman, and you can request
Mm-hmm.
that they pass that into law, because that is their job. That is why they were elected. They represent us. We don't work for them, they work for us. And just to Oh, also, like, just to keep your peace. I do have an album out. It's called The Beautiful Struggle. The title track on that song is called Beautiful Struggle, and it is about this.
Right.
It's about being a Black person in America with a college degree and no job in your field, and in debt.
Yeah.
Why am I in debt after going to college? Because when college first started, you didn't have to pay for it until minorities wanted to go. It was free before we decided to go to college.
Oh, wow.
College was free. And when Black people decided they want to go, they were like, oh, we're going to charge you tuition now. So the fact that I'm in debt at all is a sin. But then I couldn't even get a job in my field because I'm Black, I'm a woman. And then it also, you just in general talks about, what's going on right now with the Black Lives Matter movement.
Right.
And how we're tired of living like this and having people try to invalidate our experiences as Black people. I don't need you to validate my experience.
Yep.
I don't need you to have
2 minutes. Sorry, I got the countdown clock. We got
no problem. 2 minutes. I think that's it. And then you guys can follow me on Tatiana Scott. I'll be posting everything Tatiana Scott, every piece of information I come up across for Black Lives Matter that's useful. I will not be posting, videos of us being murdered because that's traumatizing.
Yeah.
I just want us to be able to heal from this, and I want us to be able to keep going. Like, I don't want it to be a situation where we march for a couple of months and then it dies down, because they're going to keep doing it. Like, we need to have those 4 officers convicted in a conviction that doesn't get pardoned.
Right.
After the fact, those people need to do jail time.
Yeah.
And because that's the only way that we're going to get justice. It's easier to sue the city than to get cops convicted. They'll give us money before they convict the cops. And they'll have no problem convicting cops that are minorities. It's the white cops that they don't want to convict. Like, they'll convict a woman and a minority, but I have yet to see a white male cop be convicted of killing a Black body. And all of those things can be handled if you just write your council people.
Yep.
And get in their asses. Exactly. And then if they don't do what you want, take it to the booth and go vote them out the next time.